168 girls, aged 7 to 12, killed in a single school strike, the deadliest attack on a school in recent history. It was a typical morning on February 28, 2026, at the Shajara-e-Tayyibeh Primary School in Minab, southern Iran. The sun was shining, and the sound of children's laughter filled the air. The students, all girls, were in their classrooms, eager to start their day. But in an instant, their lives were forever changed. A missile, identified by munitions experts as a U.S. Tomahawk missile, struck the school, reducing it to rubble. The blast was so powerful that it killed 168 girls, aged 7 to 12, and injured many more. The parents, who had just dropped off their children, received panicked calls to pick them up, but it was too late. The school was gone, and their children were gone with it. The attack on the Shajara-e-Tayyibeh Primary School was not an isolated incident. On the same day, 12 more children were killed in schools across 5 other locations in Iran. The total number of civilians killed in Iran has risen to over 1,407, with 214 children killed, accounting for 15% of all casualties. The number of injured is staggering, with over 24,800 people, including 4,000 women and 1,621 children, seeking medical attention. The hospitals are operating under extreme pressure, with medical staff working extended hours, and shortages of equipment and medications. The displacement crisis is worsening, with over 1.2 million people displaced in Lebanon alone. The true toll of the war may be significantly higher, as communication disruptions make it impossible to count all the dead. The world is watching in horror as the civilian toll mounts, and the question on everyone's mind is, how did it come to this? The war was started during nuclear negotiations, a surprise attack that caught Iran off guard. Children were in school when their country was attacked, with no warning to civilians before the strikes began. The Human Rights Watch has called for an investigation into the school strike, labeling it a war crime. UNICEF has condemned the attack, stating that these child casualties are a stark reminder of the brutality of war. As the world grapples with the consequences of this war, one thing is clear: the human cost is too high to bear. The children, the innocent victims of this conflict, will never have the chance to grow up, to go to college, to get married, or to have children of their own. Their lives were cut short, in an instant, by a war that they did not understand, and did not deserve. The world needs to see the reality of war, and the devastating impact it has on civilians, particularly children. We need to ask ourselves, what is the point of war, if not to protect the innocent? What is the point of nuclear negotiations, if not to prevent the devastating consequences of war? The world needs to come together, to demand an end to this senseless violence, and to hold those responsible accountable. We need to support the families of the victims, and to provide aid to those affected by the war. We need to be the voice for the voiceless, and to stand up for the rights of children, everywhere. The time for action is now, before it's too late. The world needs to see the human cost of war, and to feel the pain and the suffering of those affected. We need to be moved to action, to demand justice, and to bring peace to the region. The children of Iran, and of the world, deserve nothing less. The impact of this war on a generation of children will be felt for years to come. According to UNICEF, the effects of war on children can be long-lasting, and can have a devastating impact on their development, their education, and their future. Families have been destroyed, communities shattered, and the social fabric of the region torn apart. The world needs to understand that the human cost of war is not just a statistic, but a reality that affects real people, with real lives, and real families. The children of Iran, and of the world, are not just numbers, but human beings, with hopes, and dreams, and aspirations. They deserve to live in a world where they can grow up in peace, and where they can reach their full potential. The world needs to come together, to make sure that this happens, and to ensure that the human cost of war is never forgotten. So, who is accountable for this senseless violence? Who will be held responsible for the deaths of 168 girls, and the destruction of their school? Who will answer for the war crimes committed in Iran, and in other parts of the world? When will the world say enough, and demand an end to this senseless killing? The time for questions is over, the time for action is now. We need to demand justice, and to hold those responsible accountable. We need to be the voice for the voiceless, and to stand up for the rights of children, everywhere. The world needs to see the human cost of war, and to feel the pain and the suffering of those affected. We need to be moved to action, to demand justice, and to bring peace to the region. The children of Iran, and of the world, deserve nothing less. If this video moved you, subscribe. Share this. The world needs to see what's happening. Drop your thoughts below, because silence is complicity. Let's come together to demand an end to the senseless violence, and to bring peace to the region. The children of Iran, and of the world, are counting on us.